Westgate community. I'm David Weiss, our principal and lead learner here at Westgate Elementary School, and I'm here to talk to you tonight about Rise Night. This is our first ever Rise Night, and we're excited to have you join us. This year we're trying something different. We eliminated our back to school night for Rise Night. I'm going to go into some details about that here in just a moment. But first I want you to know that you can always be engaged in the conversation about what's happening at our school behind the scenes through Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We are active on all three of those social networks, and we want you to join us in that conversation. It's a great way to see pictures of your kids. It's also a great way to gather information and see examples of what we're doing from day to day in terms of learning and changing the experience for students. Now, why Rise Nights? First of all, we know that back to school night is something that people value, and we want to make sure that you have an opportunity to see your teachers and see the classroom your kids are going to be learning in. But we feel like where back to school night missed the opportunity, the boat was, we talked about curriculum and then we sent you on your way. With Rise Night, our goal is to have you meet your teacher, spend some time in their classroom with your student, and then also to spend some time looking at the data that speaks to where your student is at right now and where you'd like them to go, and then set some goals with your students so that you can meaningfully engage in conversations with them at night about what the goal is. There are some things that we know that are different about schools today compared to when we were in school 20, 30, and even more time ago. We also know that things are different in school because the world looks different. The jobs that exist today didn't exist 20 years ago, and the jobs that will exist 20 years from now may not exist today. Our goal in changing the task is trying to create a space where kids are learning in an authentic way. The old school versus the new school is very different. Kids are not sitting in rows. We're giving less homework. Students are doing tasks at school that are more authentic, less memorizing, and more doing. We also are incorporating more technology in our school, which is changing the demands on our teachers and our students. We want to make sure that you as a family are able to support that as we move forward, because technology, while it can also be a challenge, can be a great tool to create opportunities for students, to create opportunities for the future, to really engage in meaningful learning that looks different than it did when we were in school. Recently I was in a conversation with Dr. Glass, our district superintendent. He and I had a conversation about what this looks like at the district level and also at the school level, and he shared the following video with our school, Westgate.
Hello Westgate community, I'm Jason Glass, Superintendent and Chief Learner with Jeffco Public Schools, and I want to talk to you a little bit about what we call the main thing here in Jeffco Public Schools, and that is the student experience. We believe that through the course of learning, students should experience those things that are similar to the kinds of complex work they're going to have to do when they leave our schools. It goes beyond just content and facts. While those are important, we also need students who can grow up to be creators, who can collaborate, who can solve complex problems, who can persevere through difficult situations, who can adapt to different circumstances and events. In Jeffco, we do that through changing what we call the student task. In all lessons, at some point, we hand things back over to the students and we ask them to engage, to take over, to practice something. That's a moment when we can infuse these kinds of rich, meaningful, authentic, engaging experiences into learning through student tasks. I know the staff at Westgate Elementary has been working on these kinds of experiences already, and we've made great progress just in this past year about making that learning authentic, rich, and meaningful. But I encourage you to support your teachers, support your principal. This is difficult work that they're doing. This is a profound shift in education that we're seeking to bring about. So take care of those folks that are working with your kids. They're important and they're doing hard work. Thanks again. It's great to spend a few moments with you.
So as you can see from Dr. Glass's video, things in the old school and things in the new school are different. And we know that. We like that things are different in the new school. We want the new school to look different. We want it to be a different experience for kids than what we may have had when we were growing up. We want to make sure that they're prepared for the world that they're going to live in. And as all of us adults know, the world looks very different now than it did when we were in school. And knowing that, having that knowledge, we have to be sure that we're preparing kids for that. So things may look different. The mindset that you ingrain in your child is going to be an important factor in that. In other words, you need to help develop in your child a mindset of growth. Can math be hard? Absolutely, math can be hard. But if we go to the weight room and lift the same amount of weight for 10 weeks in a row, we will be stronger, but we will not be as strong as we could have been. In other words, we have to increase the difficulty if we're going to grow. And that means that as we grow in math or in reading or in writing or any other subject area for that matter, if it doesn't become more difficult, we don't grow from it and we don't get better because of it. So as we move on into the evening, I want you to take the advantage of the opportunity tonight to really look into that data. Dig in with your students, dig in with your teacher, and really get to understand what it means for you to support your child in really growing in the way that you want them to. Hard work pays off, and we know that. We want you to make sure that you're also supporting our mission, Lead, Love, and Learn, and following us on our social media outlets. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the lead learner of your classroom, your teacher.